This is the S&P 500 SPDR ETF SPY one-day reading for October 3rd, 2024. It's currently September 9th, 2024, 8:31 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading is $546.41. That's USD. The shuffle video for the October 3rd reading was created on August 4th, 2024 at 3:39 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. In this video, we're going to go over the overall trend direction for the day. We're going to talk about the chart behavior around the day's highest high and the chart behavior around the day's lowest low, as well as the general timing down to roughly about an hour as far as where they are throughout the day. And then we're going to get into where the best trades are and the chart behavior by the hour, basically. You have to give it plus or minus an hour here or there of wiggle room, and not in all readings, in a few readings here or there. But always pay attention to the sequence of events, because that will keep you on track if we are plus or minus a little bit here or there on the timing. The overall theme and behavior for the day, there's a significant decline surrounding this day. Based on the theme card, we have a decline through multiple support levels. Behavior around the highest high, we have a decline off of the highest high through multiple support levels. It looks like two main ones. The second one, when we meet the second one, we rotate sideways along it. So decline through two main supports at least, and then sideways rotation. And then behavior around the low, the truce card in the low position is not really a natural place for the truce card. Likely what it means is that there's like a decline, a notable decline into the truce card resistance, or the truce card price level at the low, and then a retracement of that move back to the upside, most likely. And we'll look at that in more detail as we progress. I'm advised to trade around a notable intentional fake out or shakeout of some kind, something intended to trick us into doing the wrong thing. Technical indicator falsely triggered, or whipsaw action, something along those lines. So be very mindful of that. In the pre-market, we open higher, and there's a notable decline in the pre-market, taking us into a low or a trough at the open, possibly at the open, somewhere between the open and 10 o'clock-ish. And there's this pop and drop from there. So we decline pretty notably, but then there's like this pop and drop taking us to a high. My sense is that it's a pop and then a drop, like a pop out of the open to a high, and then a drop, pretty sharp drop into a low for the day there, just after 10 o'clock. So there's a pop and then into a high, and then a drop into a low. It's a lot of price swinging going on there around that first hour and a half to 2.5 hours or so, like into noontime. A lot of price swinging going on. Another bit after that sharp drop into a low there just after 10 o'clock, significant move to the upside. We pushed the upper end of a range higher, not necessarily the high, like higher than the high that we've seen already thus far, hard to say. But from that, we have another swing to the downside between roughly, we have a decline between roughly 11 and 12. It's kind of like a dip and then a move back to the upside. A lot of price swinging going on there, because we end up at a peak just after 12 o'clock at a resistance level that we're going to decline from and then revisit in the not too distant future. We decline from it pretty notably into a trough just before 1 o'clock, and then a notable move to the upside. A big move down into a trough at 1 o'clock, and then a breakout to the upside just after 1 o'clock, followed by some sideways rotation, and then another decline taking us back to a trough around 2 o'clock. We attempt to establish support there with sideways rotation, and then in the last hour there's a notable move to the upside, followed by a retracement of that move either into the close or at the close we started. Either way, we end up in a notable decline in the post-market. It looks like we have a lower price level for the fourth at some point. There's a lower low there than we see today. As far as the best trades, so there's a day trade in here. After all this price swinging going on, it's at that high that we have just after 12 o'clock, or around 12 o'clock, I should say. It'll be at an important price level on a multi-day scale. That would be a good place to open up a short position, close a short position when we have a sharp drop into a trough around probably just before 1 o'clock. That trough likely not as low as the low that we saw earlier in the day. Hard to say though, because the theme card is significantly big move, so it depends. If this price level ends up being a higher price level than the high here, then, or the same price level, I would say then likely this is a higher trough than the low. But if this price level that we open up the short at is lower especially significantly lower than the highs of the early morning, then I would say that there's a good chance that this low here is even lower. It's hard to say, but either way, what you want to do is you want to take the safe bet, open up the short at that important resistance level, close the short when we have a big move into the trough. I probably wouldn't wait till the same low just to be on the safe side. And then at that time, you would open up a long. No, I wouldn't open up a long there, but if you miss that opportunity to close the short, there's another opportunity. It's not quite as good, but it's still a good opportunity that should take place just after roughly 2 o'clock when we attempt to establish support. But really, I mean, there should be at some point there. We likely come back to it here. We'll see when we get into that reading. But to be on the safe side, I would probably want to be, for a day trade, 2 opportunities to close out of it. And if you want to do an overnight swing, that would probably work too. There's a couple nullifications on the 4th, so it's not as crystal clear as you would like it to be for a reliable trade. So since it's probably, if you can take the day trade, take the day trade. If not, then we'll look for a place to exit there. Might be able to do it first thing in the morning on the 4th. We'll talk about that in more detail when we get into the reading for the 4th. That's SPY for October 3rd, 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Most importantly, blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.